Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Today we're going to talk about chasing women until they chase you. And I'm not going to tell you how to get them to chase you because every woman is completely different. And unless you're Chad Thunderstroke, you're probably not going to get chased. But it's been kind of a slow news week. And I go back through my emails and I have, if you ever emailed me and I haven't replied to you, I have thousands to reply to. But wanted to talk about this because I did come across an email that I got, and a younger guy, asks like an important question. He says, "Hey, there's kind of this girl I'm into, and she's beautiful, and I'm interested in pursuing her. Should I chase after her, or should I just kind of follow advice?" So I'm going to read his email here, and there's no identifying information in here. So, and I'm certainly not going to embarrass him because he asks a good question here. He says, "Hey, Joker. I love the channel, sir. Have been watching since March 2020. I need advice on a girl. She's in my college class, or she's in my class at college. She's an exchange student from Spain. She's very beautiful and has quite a few guys pursuing her. As far as I know, she's not in a relationship currently. My question is, how should I proceed? Do I compete with them for her attention, or do I do the red pill thing and focus on myself and let it go? Some background on me. I speak Spanish fluently. I've been hitting the gym and getting my money together, but still have a ways to go. I'm currently preparing to join the military after college and getting back into shape. I am 21-year-old senior majoring in aerospace engineering. Excellent field. I've spoken to her before briefly about classwork and that I speak Spanish." Well, first of all, the mindset. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to think of, do I pursue her, or do I just do the college thing and not worry about her? It's actually, think of it as a dusting of interest. So for you guys out there that are thinking about women before all else, that's a mistake. And I got some stories I'm going to read here that are pretty crazy. But I always do the dry stuff, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. You don't ever want to put all your, or even a large portion of your attention and or energy into women, because when that woman does leave you or will leave you and moves on with her life, especially a very attractive Spanish girl that is in your classes, you don't want to say, well, I put so much energy into that I gave up my passions and chased my thing. The thing to always remember is you have to chase your passions first. So if you're in college for aerospace engineering and you need to get back to the gym, and do you have male friends? Do you have guys that you're hanging out with and have a good group of friends? If the answer to that is no, you need to get those first before you start dating, because otherwise you put too much energy into the dating. You put too much energy into her if you do start dating, and it will make her run away. You're too important to her, and women do not like that. I've got a story about that too. You need to have your own thing going on. And interestingly enough, that if you were going to the gym and you got in really good shape and you're relatively attractive, and you speak to her in Spanish and you're nice to her, she will probably throw you some indicators that she's interested in talking to you. She will find reasons to say hi to you. She will, if it's open seat classroom, which most colleges are, I think, you will notice she will start sitting closer to you. That is your indicator that maybe you should, go forward and ask for a date or ask for a number. If she doesn't do any of that, she's not interested. And especially if she's attractive, and especially if she has other guys pursuing her, you only know of the ones that you see pursuing her, or you know of it. There's likely 10 or 20 times more than that actively pursuing her, and you have to ask yourself, am I the best one out of the group? And if the answer is no, then no, you don't really have a shot at this. Remember, at this kind of age, women aren't really into long-term dating yet. They're still focusing on either their college or their social group with their girls, or going out and drinking and having fun and meeting up with guys and going on dates. The odds of actually being one of the ones she chooses is kind of low. But if you did keep going to the gym, if you were the best, the smartest in class and doing very well, and the teacher says nice things about you, and you're in really good shape, and you speak Spanish, and you're really interesting, and she doesn't notice, or she just is polite to you and moves on, there's your answer. And if she is polite to you and does flirt a little bit, then you ask for her number and ask if she'd like to go out sometime. Then you know your answer. the answer is yes, great. But don't make her the focus in your life. She comes after everything else is done. And if she doesn't become a part of your life, then you know not to think about her anymore and move on. But I think a lot of young men don't know that it's you let her know that you may be interested, or you're polite to her and kind of test the waters. And if you don't get anything back, you're done. That's it. And you just move on with your life. The reason why I mention, though, that you should never chase women is because most of the time when you make a woman a focus, you lose focus on other things. And when you're a man that has a lot going on, and you don't have to worry about ever chasing women. You don't have to even worry about women. They will just be there. They will find ways to talk to you. They will find ways to let you know they're interested. They will find ways to contact you, whether it's on a social media account or she asks you what you're doing for the weekend. Like, they will let you know. But women have so many options today. You really do have to be in the top 10 or 20%, especially with a very attractive, foreign woman, to even have a chance. So my answer to you is drop some hints. If she shows interest, pursue it a little bit, but be forward. Let her know your intentions. Ask her for a number. Ask her to go out. She gives you some BS excuse or doesn't ever get back to you, move on. And that's it. And then you can stop obsessing over it. The reason why I bring this up is this. Let me play this clip at the same time. This is from Morgan Freeman. I keep this on my soundboard.
Don't chase women. They'll chase you.
Don't chase women. Don't chase you. This is Morgan Freeman's 85, and he was given an interview with Pierce. What's his name? I forget his name. Pierce Morgan, I think it was. And Pierce Morgan said, "How's the dating going for you? And are you now that you're single again? Are you back out chasing women?" And he said, "I don't chase women. Women chase me." And when Pierce said, "How's that working out for you?" He said, "It's working out pretty good." Now, he's 85 years old now, and this is an actress. I've seen her in some TV shows. I don't remember what. This is an actress, and yes, I know all you young guys are like, wow, she's 50, 55, 60 years old, whatever her age is. And I looked up her name. I don't care enough to dive into it, but the point is she's still 30 years younger than Morgan Freeman. This was another girlfriend of his that he dated for a while. And surprisingly, this young lady was somebody else that he dated. And the reason why I looked those up is just to say, okay, yes, one of these looks like she's in her 20s, maybe her 30s. The others look like they're maybe in their 50s. But when you're 85 years old, the attraction to women changes. It becomes less of a physical thing. I mean, when you're 85 years old, rising to the occasion might be a once a month or twice a month thing, unless you're taking a lot of medication to help you with stuff. It's just the sexuality portion of the relationship takes a pretty steep dive, which is probably why he didn't stay with this young thing for very long. But it changes. It becomes companionship. It becomes someone that you find attractive and that you like cuddling with and maybe get some romantic love going on. So even if those women are in their 50s, I think it's a different type of relationship. But Morgan Freeman's advice is sound, is that you can chase a woman as hard as you want to. You can want a woman as much as you want. You can tell her that you're the nicest guy in the world and you will praise and worship the ground she walks on, and you've made her as dry as the Sahara Desert. Because, getting that kind of validation, getting that kind of attention from a woman, you can't say that I'm a masculine man. I am a strong, powerful man, a rich man, okay, women are like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's something you have to exude. It's something you have to be. And the way that you be that is by being the top of your aerospace engineering class, or working in aerospace engineering in and of itself. Usually that's a pretty good engineering field. It impresses everybody with a degree. And I would assume you would make very comfortable money doing that. So that portion will be done. And then you worry about your physicality. We can't do much to change our faces unless you want to, get plastic surgery or something. But you can. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a good-looking man. He's just not. But when you become Mr. Olympian and you become famous, that's going to get you a lot different attention. Maybe you don't get famous, but maybe you can, get something to wear when you're in a T-shirt or even a suit. If you look muscular, that's going to get you some attention. You dress well. You separate, or maybe just dress differently. Separate yourself out from the pack. Those are all things you can do. But I got to tell you guys, the minute you start chasing women, you lose. You must chase your passions, your career, your physicality, getting in shape, becoming an amazing man for yourself. Then the women will come. And here's the best part. If you do it that way and women don't show up, you don't care because you're in great shape, you're athletic, and you will get the attention if you're in really great shape. It's just, women love great bodies just like men do. But you've got good shape, you've got a career that you love and you're passionate about, you make good money, and then you have some guy friends and, maybe get a pet, and life is on easy street. I want to tell you a couple stories about why you don't change your life or why you don't chase after women, because women are fickle and women will change their minds on a drop of a hat even if you do nothing wrong. This is an old newspaper clipping that someone was sharing on Twitter. It says, wife seeks divorce from, quote, perfect husband. In a bizarre incident, a woman has sought divorce from her husband on the grounds that he does not fight with her. The woman has approached a court for divorce just after 18 months after her marriage. The woman claimed that her husband's love was suffocating her. He does not shout at me, and neither has he upset me on any issue. He even cooks for me and also helps me in performing household chores, she told the court. She further said, whenever I make a mistake, he always forgives me for that. I wanted to argue with him. I do not need a life where the husband agrees to everything. And this is how many men, being raised by, good fathers or traditional families like I was, this is what we thought. We like, hey, I'm going to be an easy guy to get along with. I'll understand when she makes a mistake. I'll be supportive of her. I'm not going to fight just to fight. Like, that's me being a good man. They don't want that. You're boring. You're average. She's got you figured out. Women like excitement. They like a challenge. They like someone that is interesting. If you chase after them, you're showing the woman that you think she has more value than you do because you're pursuing her. The way you get a woman to truly have interest in you is if you exhibit higher qualities than her. And again, it's not to say that if she doesn't flirt back a little bit or seems, go for it. Don't close the option off if that's what you want. But the minute you start really, making that a focus, you're in trouble. This guy, even though, he's not necessarily making her a focus, by him always being nice and by him being kind to her and helping her out with the house, what he's saying is, I value you so much, I'm going to act like a slave to you, and you can do no wrong, and you're wonderful, and I'll put you on a pedestal. She doesn't like that, because what it makes her feel like is she's like, oh, he looks way up to me. I can do no wrong. He forgives me. He helps me with everything. He must be a low-value guy. I want a high-value guy to be with. Now, that doesn't mean you start fights and don't help her out in the kitchen occasionally, but it means you got to stand up for yourself. It means you got to have a little bit of a backbone and push back. And this is another story this is an amazing story. I think the woman that lost 420 pounds, I think that's great. Here you've got a woman that is severely overweight. She weighed 657 pounds, and I don't even know if that was her cap. But you notice she's on a little scooter here, and she's a young lady, and here's her boyfriend pushing the cart behind and helping out. And she got so heavy at some point that even like her legs are as big as my waist is around. But again, here's her boyfriend. Now, he's not, let's be honest, he's not, a Brad Pitt over here, but he's overweight, but he's not nearly what she is. And he's not exactly a looker, but he's also not horrid. But the part I wanted to read here to give you an example is here's a guy that helped her, supported her, was by her side, helped her work out, was just there for her, right? And here's what she started to look like near the end. As you can see, she's slimmed down quite a bit. And again, she's still she's still a bigger girl, but she continued on, as you can see here. She turned out, her face is quite pretty. What happens when she starts looking like this? She joined Instagram. And she says right here, time to say goodbye. After a lot of soul searching, Amber soon realized that she and Rowdy needed to part ways. Her journey had not only changed her in terms of her appearance, her goals, and her spirit, but it had changed their relationship as well. When the deed was done, she updated her followers and noted that the split was amicable. But you notice there's an engagement ring here. He'd been with her at every step, but it was time to move on. In June 2016, Amber shared a photo with followers showing her wearing an engagement ring. She said the ring was from someone new who she was pursuing a relationship with. So she's pursuing a relationship with somebody new. She gets an engagement ring, and now she's looking like this. Why? She's leveling up. Now that guy that dedicated his time and his effort and his support to her, he had her at her very worst. I mean, again, her legs were literally like tree trunks. She couldn't even walk around. And they do mention in the story that at some point they could not be physically intimate because of her weight. Not exactly a thought many of us would like to think about, I'm sure. But the point is, he hung in there. He dedicated his time and his effort, and he was supportive of her. And the minute she could level up, she dumped him. Now, I'm not saying that happens in all cases. But if he had hobbies, and he had friends, and he had a work that he enjoyed, and he couldn't always be there for her, maybe she would have felt differently about it. But better yet, when the two of them split apart and things didn't go well, he'd be like, well, that sucks, but good on the next guy, I guess, that gets the slim version of her. Moving on. So never, always stay out of the mindset of chasing. You never want to chase. And even if you, and I'm just putting this in here to show you the choices that women make. Why would you ever dedicate a large portion of your life to something that is so chaotic and can randomly just ruin you or leave in a moment? You should never dedicate too much time or energy. Now, again, if you're a good man and you found a good woman and she supports you and you support her and you both love each other and you're married and everything's going along great, you support each other, but you don't overdo it. You don't give more than you get. You know, there's a saying, he who cares the least wins. It's not that you need to care the less. It's just you can't get too deep. And if you're already asking, like you do in your, should I even pursue her? Should I chase after? Other guys are already there. You're already getting into competition. You're already getting into an opportunity where you probably have more to lose. And if you get extremely attached to her and things go really bad, or you found out she cheats on you, are you going to be able to do your schoolwork? Are you going to be able to keep upbeat and keep going to the gym? Are you still going to be able to go out with your guy friends, or does it spiral you down a rabbit hole? You got to keep these things in mind. Yeah, you have to understand, it's not that dating is bad. I've never been a don't date guys, women are awful, run for the... I've never been that mindset. Never. I like women. Like the way they smell, the touch, taking them out to dinner, sleeping with them, all that's good stuff. It's protecting your own self first and foremost above all else, including dating or the person that you're with. And even if you're married, you always have to reserve a little bit of gas in the tank so that if something happens, you can retain your sanity and continue on in life without feeling so down and out that you want to end yourself or that you can't function as a normal person. You've always got to keep some of that. And as a man, no woman will love you unconditionally. They just don't. And maybe if you're married, maybe there's a couple out there. I'm not saying all, but we have to talk about the averages and the vast majority out there. You know, if you look at some of these NBA players and football players and other videos I've done where men are like popular, they're millionaires, they're good looking, like the video I did on Tom Brady. Even his supermodel wife's like, he's not around for the kids, even though he's, you know, the best football player, quarterback in probably NFL history and makes tons of money and blah, blah. He's not good enough because he's not doing X. There's just no winning this game. So my advice to you guys out there that do want to date, make yourself attractive enough that women chase you. Or at least when I say chase, I mean show interest. When you ask them for their number, they give it to you. And then always maintain that you have to always be slightly pursued by a woman, and you can slightly pursue them. But when they stop the pursuit, when they start showing less interest, that's when you give up the chase. That's when you give it up and start going back to working out and your other hobbies and things like that. Because if you don't, the harder you try to keep the relationship, or the harder you try to keep dating, or the harder you try to get a woman, the less attractive you are. Women do not like needy. Women do not like you putting them up on a pedestal. Women want to be with men that are better than them, even though they'll never admit it.